Hello everybody and welcome back to the Hamii channel, and for you guys today we're going to be taking a look at another video inside of Black Ops Cold War Season 1. Now today we're going to be bringing you guys the best settings. Now these settings are going to be for PS5, so the best PS5 settings or PS4 settings, whatever way you want to do it, doesn't really matter. The settings will apply to both of them. So we're going to go ahead and explain to you guys the best settings for every single thing inside of our settings options here, and we'll go ahead and hop right in. Alright, so starting off right here, we're going to have our input device. So we're going to be using PS5 controller, as you guys can see from the input device here, and we'll take a look at the very first thing we got here, which is going to be kind of a complicated system here, because we're going to be running all of our settings right here off the bat. We're going to have all of these kind of coalescing with each other, so you guys are going to probably have to figure these out on your own. For the most part, I run these because these are what I'm comfortable with and what I've been using for a very long time, so you guys will have to do what you guys think is most beneficial to yourselves and whatever you're most comfortable with. I am running an 8/8 vertical and horizontal sensitivity. I feel like they work the best together, and I have been running them for the entirety of this game's life. And these are also the same settings I used back in BO4 and in BO3 way back in the day. These are pretty much the same exact settings that I've been using for a long time on all of Treyarch's recent games and previous games. The ADS low zoom and high zoom, I have them kind of pretty much default. I do have the high zoom set at 1.1, which is just one tick up from default, which I believe is just a little bit, it helps me out a little bit better when I'm trying to like drag scope and stuff like that. When I did use snipers, I don't really use them anymore since I'm not trying to get dark matter, but you guys can play around with those. Those are really up to your guys' personal preferences. Now for our button layout and our flipped here, we're using PlayStation controllers ever since I can remember. And way back in the day when Call of Duty was back on the older gen consoles on PS3 and stuff, when I played, they had L1 and R1 as your default fire in ADS. So I have been using that same exact setup for the entirety of my Call of Duty career. And that's pretty much what I've been using, and that's what I will continue to use for the rest of the time. Now for invert look, I don't have any of that stuff on, no sort of Legacy Southpaw or anything like that. If you guys are into that kind of thing, I mean, there's other videos you guys can watch, but this is going to be for your default pretty much. And my aim response curve is going to be linear. Now this is going to be a more complicated setup for you guys. You guys are going to have to figure this out on your own for the most part. Now I run linear because I run this on other games as well, such as Apex. They also have a linear option. Linear is pretty much an exact input of your analog, so depending on how much you touch that analog, that's pretty much the input you're going to get right back, and that's pretty much what I want. So I put that on there, and I do great with it. This is how I have like a 40% accuracy on some guns. So if you guys like to have really fine aim control, definitely put on linear and try it out. Controller vibration, I have that off. There's no reason to have that on. And trigger effect for the new PS5 controllers, I also do not have that on at all. Just from a multiplayer experience, this also doesn't work for L1 and R1 either, so it doesn't really apply to me. Now coming down here to gameplay, these are going to be kind of personal preferences and such like that, but for the most part, these first four settings are going to be kind of important, as well as the aim down sights behavior. So we'll go ahead and talk about them real quick. So starting off with the target aim assist, you guys are going to want this on. This is actually your aim assist. I mean, if you guys are no aim assist controller players, you know, kudos to you. You guys are crazy for doing that, but I've never been able to do it for the most part, besides using snipers back in the day when no aim assist was on snipers. P.S. They should bring that back. I hate aim assist on snipers. But yeah, you guys are definitely going to want to have this option on. And for your target aim assist mode, now this, I do not mess around with this at all. They had this exact same option in Modern Warfare, and I did not touch it either. I definitely do not understand like the whole premise of all these, and I just don't like it at all. I definitely like the standard setting here because I feel like it's the best for me, and it just works perfectly, and I don't see a reason to change it, so I'm not going to. The ADS aim assist and Airborne Mantle behavior, I have those disabled and automatic because I really don't see any other reason to have those on, and especially in zombies, it kind of just messes up your shots and stuff like that, and kind of glitches out sometimes as well. And the automatic Airborne Mantle is just kind of annoying. I just don't mess around with it. I just keep it on automatic for the most part because I don't really have that big of a problem with it. ADS and steady aim behavior, I have those both on hold, always have, never will change them. I don't see a reason to have them on tap or toggle or anything like that. Now for our attack control and armor behavior, I also just leave those default as well. I don't really mess around with them. Those are like, I don't know, they're kind of weird settings. I don't really see a reason why they're even in the game. They should just have those based upon themselves. I don't really know, especially since the vehicle control, I don't really understand why they would have their own settings for that. I mean, I don't know. That's up to you guys if you guys want to mess around with those. Now coming down here to our advanced settings here. Now these are going to be very complicated. I hope you guys can try to understand this as best as possible. Now starting right off, stick layout default. I don't have legacy, don't have legacy flip, don't have nomad, none of that stuff. I do not run any of those. I never have. I tried them back in the day, and back when like elevators were a thing in Modern Warfare, I used to change it to like legacy Southpaw, but I don't do those. I haven't touched these in years. I just keep it on default. For your minimum inputs and maximum inputs here. Now we're going to run this down real quick. I'm going to go ahead and explain to you guys what this is all all about. So for your max input, that is pretty much the maximum input that your controller will register. Now, if you were to have this on 50, you could only move it 50% of the way through your analog's little situation there, and it would stop registering. So if I had it on 50, I could only move it halfway across, and then it would stop afterwards. So I've never had a controller that's had a problem with the max input threshold, like such as max dead zone. That's what it's pretty much considered. So I've always had it set at 100, so you guys can go ahead and do that too. And then for our minimum, now this is going to be personal preference. You guys are going to have different control. Everybody has different controllers, a different life of their controller and what its condition is in. So even a brand new controller will have some sort of dead zone. I've tried this out on multiple new controllers. I got just a brand new PS5 controller when I got it. Had like 2 at the very beginning. Now it has 3 dead zone and for minimum. And then on a new PS4 controller I got, it was 0.4 as soon as I got it. Like I didn't really understand. So you guys will definitely want to run some sort of like range from 2 to 5. You guys will have to mess around with this, see whatever is working for you. Just keep on turning the minimum input up on your right stick if your aim is drifting around, and then turn it up until it stops. And then for your minimum left stick input, whatever it is that makes your character move in whatever direction, just put that in without touching your analog. Just put that up too. Same concept as the minimum, so you guys will get that figured out pretty easily if you do. The controller sounds disabled. I don't have any of that. Auto move forward, I also do not use that as well. I feel like that would just mess up constantly because you're always moving forward. Now for the auto sprint though, I have this enabled so I can save myself some of my analog's life here. I've never really used anything other than this on the past 2 Call of Duties, because just of the fact that auto tactical sprint last year was kind of heinous towards your analog. You had to double press to even go anywhere, so I definitely have that on there. Sprint cancels reload, I have that disabled, and parachute and all of these other things right here, I have these kind of just set to default. Besides the interact reload behavior, I have that as prioritize reload, so I'm not picking up guns, pressing square on the ground and stuff, and it's really helpful when you're getting like plates and stuff off the ground and other game modes, fire team and stuff like that. Now running to graphics, you guys are going to have to personalize your colorblind and brightness based upon your monitors and whatever preferences you want to run on your mini-map stuff. But I do have ray tracing disabled, and I also cannot enable 120 Hz, but I will as soon as my PlayStation 5 updates its firmware to match my monitor stuff, because for right now there's a problem with certain monitor brands that aren't matching up to each other with the PS5. Once they do come out with an update, I will be able to run that, and that's what I will be doing. My field of view, I have that on 105 so I can see the most people I can without. If you have this on low, you're not going to be able to see around you as much, and if you have this on too high, you're not going to be able to see characters too far away from you. They're going to be very small and you won't be able to see them. So I have it on 105. I think it's a good medium right there. And I also have the ADS field of view affected. You guys are going to run that as well. If you don't, it's just going to make it really hard to see people. And motion blur, I have that off. There's no reason to ever run motion blur ever. No reason ever. It's just disgusting. Sitting over here in game sound, you guys are going to have to personalize this to your best ability. These are all going to be based upon what kind of headsets you guys, if you guys are running any mix amps or anything like that. I'm running Astro A40 TR Pros with the mix amp, so I have everything personalized on there. I have my own schematic and everything like that, but I am running max on everything besides music. I have my music at 72, and I'm running Treyarch's default mix. And you guys can mess around with any of that stuff. That's going to be all personal preferences. I feel like I hear the best on this, and that also might just be because of my mix amp, so that's going to be different for you guys. Now for my voice settings, I don't have anything set up for there. You just run parties for most. This is all going to be personalized stuff. Now interface, everything is default here. I have not touched a single thing, so you guys can personalize this to your best of your ability. This is pretty much all of the in-game stuff like hit markers, hitbox displays, and people's names, and you know, just overall things like that, visual effects. So you guys can kind of change that all based upon what you guys want to see and what you don't want to see. But I have everything on and everything set to default, so that's all up to you. And that pretty much wraps up everything there, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys with all of that. Hopefully you guys take some of this in and you guys can use some of this to the best of your ability, and it helps you out at least a little bit in some shape or form. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and do so. That'd be greatly appreciated. And make sure you drop a like down below as well. It helps us get our name out there, and you know, just helps overall the entire channel grow. That's pretty much all I have for you guys. I hope you guys have a good one, and I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll catch you in another season 1 video soon. Peace out.